my first ever PopCap game, Feeding Frenzy for the Xbox 360. Me and this title have been through such a long fucking fight. There's going back to the game and then there's just bullshit that keeps me straying away from it. I don't know what it is, but Feeding Frenzy had this weird effect on me, and it still does to this day. So I'm simply gonna start things off with the story. How about that? Feeding Frenzy's story comes off as survival of the fittest. You're just a small fish trying to get big and survive the ocean depths. But the more and more you play this game, the more you actually find out that there's some significant story to this, and the reason why there's a shark in the fucking title screen. Well, as the story uncovers, you start to learn that there's a shark king making a muck in the ocean depths. So it is your job to get a big enough fish to eat all the other little small fish in the fucking ocean and get big enough to actually take this asshole on. You'll find out in a second how ridiculous that shit can actually get. So yeah, you're actually on the conquest to defeat the Shark King and become ruler of the sea. I wonder how that'll turn out. So basically, once you've eaten your way through a massive amount of fish, you get to face off against the Shark King, which you'll ultimately defeat in the end, because the Shark King is not a total pushover, but at the same time, throughout the adventure, you'll get many lives, which makes the fight easy. Well, that's the story as a whole. You can't really expect much considering that it's an Xbox Live arcade game, but yeah, that's it. That's the whole story. Now, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about the game modes and the gameplay. How does that hold up? Well, let's find out. If you're an old timer, the gameplay is very similar to the likes of a game for the Intellivision called Shark. The only difference is progression. You can actually play as bigger fish and be able to eat some of the sharks and the other bigger fish that give you a hassle, such as the fucking barracuda. Throughout this oceanic adventure, you'll be playing up to 5 different fish. Andy, which is actually the smallest out of the bunch, but you can't really say much about him because he's a starter fish. It's basically just to get you used to the controls. Speaking of Andy's story, one thing that you'll find very annoying about this game is the encounter with the fucking barracuda. The reason why you see me raging at the beginning of the video is because that fucking barracuda kept taking my chances away of completing the level under a quick succession. Now, of course, the barracuda does give you a warning before he appears on the screen, but he comes through so fucking fast it's impossible to dodge him. Ugh, stupid fucking bitch. The second fish in the lineup is Leon the lionfish, which actually introduces you to the sucking ability, which allows you to suck in schools of fish that gave you trouble within the first levels. Leon is a bit bigger than the other fish, but still encounters the problem of the fucking barracuda. The next fish is Eddie the angler, which is actually one of my favorite fish, but his fucking levels are ridiculous. A level that I seriously had frustrations on more than the fucking barracuda is Sturgeon Crossing, which has you in the middle of a sturgeon feeding frenzy. I shit you not, it took me 5 fucking lives to actually complete this fucking godforsaken level. The next fish is JD, John Dory, or as my cousin Freddy likes to call him, a fucking turtlefish. Now, this guy is awesome for one reason and one reason only. You know those fucking pesky barracudas at the beginning of the game? Well, JD is actually big enough to eat the fucking barracuda. Sure, you have to collect enough fish in order to get to the next stage, but eating those fucking bastards one by one is so satisfying. Now the last but best fish in the lineup is Orville the Orca. Orville the Orca is fucking awesome. He's big, he eats a lot, and he can actually eat the fucking sharks and the barracudas without growing the fucking stage. The only problem I have with Orville the Orca stages is the final boss. Now, let's get into that real quick. The level before the king shark does not dick around. It'll have you testing your reflexes like no other level in this game. But once you do it, we finally make it to the Shark King. Look, I understand the Shark King is the final level, but this level is the absolute fucking worst. The Shark King is not only immune to stun, but can actually move around as if he were the fastest thing in the fucking sea. Trying to avoid this asshole is not only difficult, but it's actually time consuming, because then you have to avoid him while at the same time trying to get enough fish to actually grow in size. Eventually, you'll actually get big enough to actually eat the Shark King. And let me tell you, that shit looks totally funny. I mean, look at how small Orville is compared to the Shark King, and how the Shark King just shrinks in size and just goes into Orville. Jesus Christ, I can't even get the name right. Oh my god, this is so fucking funny. Now that that's all out of the way, there are actually two different game modes to this game. There's normal mode, which is actually just the normal story mode, and there's time attack mode, which is actually harder than story mode. If you're gonna do time attack mode, I'd advise you to practice your reflexes in story mode, because time attack mode is just fucking ridiculous with its fucking fish placement. If you thought one barracuda was bad enough, time attack has you actually fight against two barracudas, which are even worse because sometimes there's just no place to fucking run. I don't have footage of it, considering that time attack mode is gonna make me rage my fucking ass off to the point where I want to throw my Xbox out the window. But take my word for it, practice in fucking normal mode. Don't take on time attack mode without doing it, because you'll wind up breaking your fucking game. Well, Feeding Frenzy is an actually enjoying experience. It's actually something new. It takes Shark, a game that I actually like for the television. It just updates the graphics and gives it a new look and gives it a story. Now, I understand the game is very short, but this game has some unique charm to it that keeps me going back to this. Now, my suggestions: finish the game, maybe come back to it when you have nothing to do. Oh yeah, and do not, please, don't play time attack. It's fucking horrible if you don't have enough skills. Now, this game is actually gonna catch some newcomers off guard, considering that the difficulty is actually pretty gamer level. But you know what? With that said, this game holds a place in my heart. Well, I don't know. With that all being said, this concludes my review of Feeding Frenzy. Well, don't go anywhere yet. Stay tuned, because PopCap actually released a sequel to this game, which actually improves upon the first game. Think about that. Another game to get addicted to. Hold up for a second. What the fuck do you want, Marquise? Why are you always interrupting my reviews? Well, number one, you're ugly as fuck. Number two, you're ugly as fuck. And number three, you really gonna review all these fucking games? I mean, come on, man. You used to just sit there and do playthroughs. Now you're gonna do this shit? Well, I do whatever the fuck I want. So you can get the fuck out of my room if you don't like it. You can stay here and do a review with me. I don't care. But you're not gonna sit here and give me bullshit for this. You wanna know something, Massimo? I'll be back. Just let me know when you decide to do the Call of Duty series. Did he just say Call of Duty?